Throughout our exploration of Pharloom, we encounter various characters, each with their own story. From Sherma's innocent pilgrimage to the Citadel, to Chakra's desperate search for her master, everyone has a unique goal in mind. Unfortunately, some of these characters were left out of the final version, some only leaving traces of their existence deep within the game's files. Today, we'll be analyzing the most prevalent of those cut characters. Huge shout out to those involved in extracting all this content, including Sumwan, Opalinesque, and Save Me. And also a special thanks to the Silksong Wiki editors who have compiled this information. I'll leave a link to their work in the description. Pharloom has an endless stream of pilgrims making their way towards the Citadel. So many in fact, that all of the ones we meet and interact with lack unique names, only being called Pilgrims. In this case, we have two characters that fit that description, the Pinned Pilgrim and the Learned Pilgrim. The Pinned Pilgrim made its appearance back in volume 354 of Edge magazine. They would sit in front of Pinmaster Pliny's bell home, although it's uncertain whether or not they would remain there. Pilgrims have rules when it comes to their journey towards the Citadel. They aren't allowed to use any tools to make their travel easier, such as using the bellways. Most importantly, they can't use weapons to defend themselves. This is a big issue when faced with the beasts that roam in the lower portions of Pharloom. Pilgrims that are unfortunate enough to encounter these monsters meet a swift and merciless end to their journeys. Even though their sprites still exist in the files, there's no chance of them coming back. They make an appearance in Widow's Chamber, having fought bravely to free Belhart. But while some seek change to current systems, others want to dig deeper and investigate what's behind the chaos. This is where the Learned Pilgrim comes in. Our learner, located in the Marrow, would offer Hornet a quest which revolved around gathering the organs of other pilgrims, which would be used to research the cause of the haunting. After returning with these organs, the Learned Pilgrim storyline would conclude. Our first hint would be when offering the organs to them. Through cut dialogue, we notice his well-composed speech and the very clearly expressed desire to help his fellow pilgrims. Yet his speech begins to change as we present him with the organs. He stutters and speaks in simple phrases. Hornet inquires about his research, and after a brief explanation of the silk flowing through Pharloom, he lunges towards Hornet. Unfortunately, his intelligence could not save him from being another haunting victim. This storyline is great, and should have been kept in the final game. While I believe Peb does a good job filling in that friends to enemies story, having another similar storyline with more lore embedded within wouldn't have hurt. Obviously, following this game for its entire development has clued me into the Silk lore, but I'm not sure how clear this was for newcomers who had no real grasp of the story. The Caravan also has quite a few mysteries hidden in those carriages. The Flea Spirit is the first of those secrets. Not much information remains about this character, but they did have a memento and a sprite on the Flea Festival's scoreboard. The Flea Spirit could have been an old tale passed down through generations, a legendary guiding figure for all fleas. Chances are that the spirit was the original Seth, having the highest scores during the Flea Festival, and only by beating them would you be recognized as an equal and given the Flea Spirit memento by Mushka. In a previous video I showed this screenshot, which implies we could have bought something from the Caravan. I also stated that the Caravan was originally called the Caravantula, which is completely incorrect. The Caravantula is actually the flea's final stashed secret. We would first encounter this NPC in a moment of desperation, pleading with us to free it from the ropes that bind it. After doing so, Caravantula would show its appreciation and offer to take you via routes only I'm able to scale in exchange for a few rosaries. From the remaining dialogue, we only have two places the Caravantula could visit, Belhart and the Red Coral Gorge. I doubt Caravantula was the original or the only fast travel method. Team Cherry may have designed some areas as being inaccessible to the Bell Beast, but ultimately scrapped that concept because it makes fast travel tedious. Our final NPC is actually a trio, the Bugpipers. Once Hornet reached the Citadel, these three would appear in Belhart. When I first saw their sprites in the cut content files, I thought they would be a cheerful band spreading love and positivity through music. I couldn't have been more wrong. Their presence would actually agitate Belhart's residents, including Pavo and Frey, Belhart's shopkeeper. And through this placeholder dialogue, we know that they would have offered Hornet a task. Now, it could have just been that they sounded awful, and that's why everyone hid from them, with their quest revolving around finding material to fix their instruments. But considering that they only appear once the Citadel is awoken by Grandmother Silk, I believe their intentions were much more sinister. They were acting as heralds of her arrival, celebrating her rise to power through song and dance. Even their names seem to take inspiration from another piper, the Pied Piper of Hamelin. For those who are not aware of the Pied Piper, the story begins in 1284, in the small town of Hamelin, which was overrun by rats. A mysterious piper dressed in multicolored clothes appeared and offered to rid the town of the rats for a fee. He played a tune on his pipe and led the rats into the Weser River, where they drowned. But when the town refused to pay him, he returned, played his pipe again, and this time led away the town's children, who were never seen again. The Pied Piper now cements his status as a harbinger of punishment and loss, tied to broken promises and betrayal. The Bugpipers could have been designed with the same goal in mind, unsettling figures whose arrival marks a turning point. Most bugs in Pharloom fall into two categories. They are either victims to the haunting, stripped of their free will, or they have the strength to fight against the haunting and continuously despise it. Off the top of my head, I can't really think of any characters that rejoice from Pharloom's decay. Even Trobio, who takes on an emo personality in Act 3, is merely putting on another stage performance, rather than truly feeling joy from the current situation. So to have such jarring figures would have been cool, though I wouldn't mind if they were just a gag and they actually sucked at playing. Team Cherry had a lot of fun making this game, and a lot of fun removing content. There's so much more to go over, and I hope to see you all in the next video.